Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Diamond Ash. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps out quite a bit. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join the Discord in the description below, see what sort of events we have going on, etc. I just said Ash and now this is McCree, isn't it?
Now, hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna adjust this on the spot because we don't want to mislead people. So this is clearly more McCree heavy. Okay, my apologies for that. Here we go.
My business? Hey, don't just stand around. Do something.
Justice ain't gonna dispense itself. Well, it's high noon somewhere.
Okay, let's speed this up. Anyways, if you guys are enjoying the content, like, subscribe. If you're looking to get coaching yourself, join the Discord, see rates, see events coming up, like the internal scrims that we're scheduling, get to participate / pick what time works well for you, all that jazz. So we've got the McCree, we have a Reinhardt. Okay, so this isn't amazing, but they're more divey than us, so I can live with it. Fine.
The objective is now.
I'm almost positive you didn't need that reload, but let's take a look.
The objective is now.
You're down to 2. There's a Mercy on screen. We see there's a Mercy on screen right here. You can definitely see this Mercy. You have 2 shots left. You can definitely see this Mercy. Nope. Nope. And now you've reloaded and she's out of line of sight. So you got to be a little careful with your reloads. We'll see if it continues to be an issue, but this loses you uptime, and McCree really does like his uptime. And see, now you've ended up using a roll right after you did a reload, and you wanted to get here. I get that, though honestly, there wasn't a very good reason. You don't need to be on this point before your Zarya. You don't need to be on this point before your Rhine gets closer. If they cap this point, that's not really a you thing. Like, you spending your roll to go touch this point is kind of dangerous and potentially creates a bit of a way back into this fight for them. You're putting yourself in danger. You're trying to rush yourself into what is going to be a 1v3 situation. This ball can come through and hit you. The McCree can shoot you. Like, it's not really a 1v3. I get it. Your Zen's here. Your Zarya's here. Your Reaper will join, or your Reaper, your Reinhardt will join in a second, but you've spent your ability to help get you out of danger, your roll, and you didn't get the reload value out of it, to get in here. And if they cap this and then you eliminate them carefully as 3, 4, 5 people, which is what you're going to do, that's great. If you come in here, you give this McCree a chance to just go pink, pink, and take you down. And you might think, oh, that's not going to happen. We have more people, all that. It only takes 2 shots to take you down. That's very possibly something that he can do. So when you get ahead in a fight like this, you generally don't want to take risks like using your cooldown to get to the point where you're going to be in danger. You're now on point with no cooldowns. Are you going to take down the Mercy? Probably, but there's a chance. It's not a 50% chance. It's not a 70% chance, but there's a chance, and it's not a 2% or 10% chance that this McCree is going to take you down and potentially let this losing team back into the fight. Hey, Super.
Got the hot hand.
The objective.
I have found the enemy. Come and face me. My ultimate's ready.
Careful, you're really far from cover there. And I don't know why. So let's go like that. Let's fix the chair. Okay. I just need to replace this chair. Okay, so here you are. I can live with this. Why are you here? I don't mind shooting down this sight line. That's fine with me. You know, there's some range issues, but that's fine with me. But keep your cover. Or rotate across and have your cover. Don't just stand here. Here you're in the middle of the sight line, and this tracer could show back up and get you from the side. If you're here, you're barely open on the sight line, and if the tracer shows up, you can close the sight line. If you're here, you're barely open on the sight line, and if the tracer shows up, you can close the sight line against these guys while fighting the tracer. That's what you want. You don't want these middle of the open spots. I also like you more to the left because your Genji and Reinhardt are now occupying this main sight line, so you on the left would be better. That said, you might need to press X to get some heals first. Mm-hmm. This is a long walk without any sort of look in this direction. Do you know if your Reinhardt is holding here or if your Reinhardt is back here? And therefore, do you know if these guys are here or if they're up here where they could have seen you walking across? You didn't even take a look. You didn't go, oh, as I'm walking across, let me do a peek. As I get here and it's clear the tracer still isn't here, let me do a quick peek. You didn't do any sort of threat assessment.
Pardon me.
Yeah. So controlling flanks is good. You push this too hard in terms of you got this, you got healed up a bit, cool. Now you want to push up to something like this, where you can go, hey, I'm threatening these guys from a different angle. They're having to push into our concave. If they push past our Reinhardt, they're getting shot by Zarya from here, they're getting shot by Genji from here, Zen from here, and you from over here. That's what you want, and you also have the ability to go, hey, I threaten this lane. You can go, I can threaten over here. I can also threaten this lane and try and chip Tracer on her way in, and if Tracer gets me into trouble, I can go this way, join my Ana, all that is good. You don't want to get too separated, though, because they are a more divey team than you. If they were a equally brawly team to you, absolutely. You go, hey, we're going to spread to the world. We're going to set up this great concave. Still a little bit of a concave is nice, but you have to be more aware of, can you easily get back to your core against this comp? And the reason you have to do that is they have pretty good mobility between their ball and their tracer. And if both of them show up on you, if two mobile heroes show up on you, you're going to be in trouble. You can defend yourself okay against one mobile hero, but if they decide to fight for a flank together, you can be in a bit of trouble. So you want to be here-ish where you can go, I roll back to my Ana. Where you can go, okay, I rejoin my Rein pretty quickly, where your Genji can see you, can influence on you. Your Ana can see you, can influence on you. You don't want to get too far up here. This is aggressive. This would be potentially fine if you were winning the fights, you knew you were pushing them back, or if it was a case of they're on a comp that is as brawly as you, but they're not. They're on a more divey comp than you. If they were running, say, I don't know, May Reaper or McCree May or something like that, you could potentially push this like you are and going, hey, I'm going to go on this. I'm going to take this angle that'll turn into a flank and it's going to be lovely. Maybe my team's fighting here and I'm going to sneak my way up here for a high noon or something. That'd be a bit dicey, but you could maybe justify it. But that's more when the team has a similar level of brawl or poke to you. When the team is more divey like this, you don't want to get too separated to where you can't quickly rejoin your team. Hope that made sense. Shh, I'm hunting tracers. Shh, I'm hunting tracers. I don't think so. Super Kayashak, I don't know how to pronounce that, is a somewhat regular. I mean, he's not here quite as often as you, Blah, but he's somewhat of a regular. I don't think this is him.
My ultimate is almost ready.
My ultimate is ready.
Hello. Howdy.
Helden sterben nicht.
Crusaders.
Oh, good judgment. Good judgment after you missed that second shot that you needed to break line of sight. You potentially could have rolled in and tried to cancel it with flash faster, but still good judgment. Yeah, we like having you around. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. You have 6 ammo. You're in no danger. You're in no danger. You have 6 ammo. No one is shooting at you. No one is threatening to shoot at you, and you just spent your roll. That's your only mobility, even though it's not very good mobility. And it's a reload. You don't want to just burn it like this. You can sometimes use it after you've fully wiped a team to go, yeah, I'm going to use it because I have a little bit of time to help establish a flank, but usually you don't want to use it to take a flank, to take an angle. You want to have it available while you're on your flank and angle, either to go, hey, this gives me 6 more shots quickly because while I'm on this angle, this fight is for real, this fight is serious, and every moment counts to shorten my reload, or you have it to go, they're chasing me this way, a diva dove me or something, and it's a little bit of help for me to get back to my team by the diva that dove me, or by the ball that's coming after me, or hey, the enemy team, instead of pushing my core, is backing off of the core, changing their mind and pushing me, and they have a Lucio. Oh shoot, I want a little bit of help to get away. So you want to have this role for when you're on the angle. You don't necessarily want to use it to transition to take the angle or to transition towards where you're going to want to fight, unless you know you're not going to need it for the next 6 seconds. And usually that's only the case after you've won a fight. It doesn't have to be, oh, all 6 of them are in spawn, but you've picked up, the fight is over. You've picked up 3 eliminations for your team and your team hasn't lost any. It's a clean win type situation. Yikes. Yikes, blah. That went dark. Mm-hmm.
In repetition, strive for perfection.
Don't challenge. Don't. Wait a second. Good. Oh, boy. Did you know the Tracer was coming? What was the plan here? You know the Tracer exists, you heard the recall, and you saw that she'd come this way. So you might have known about that Tracer. Okay. But then you change your mind. Oh, then you even see the Tracer. You see the Tracer. And you flash because you have to at this point. I don't really agree with your decision to drop. If you heard the recall, like, yes, this is a good play when your team is behind and your team is behind. It's just not enough. Am I going to be okay with this? So, the flank behind the enemy team when your team is losing and just look for a flash elimination and then see what else you can get is a good play when your team is starting to lose a fight. And your team was starting to lose this fight. Your Ryan's not here. Your Anna's in spawn. These guys are here. Yeah, the red is winning, so I'm okay with this. This isn't really behind the team, though. The Tracer is back here, and you did have the cues for that. And this McCree isn't much further forward. Really, if you were here, absolutely, this is the play. Here, I want to say you were better off maintaining your high ground. I want to say you were better off maintaining your positional advantage and just trying to force this the old-fashioned way, not going for the flank flash play. I am going to say that. You had enough. You have your trans going. You have your Genji in play. Like, it's not perfect, but your respawn here is on the way back. It's a near thing, but I did want you up here. You should have been up here to try to continue to muscle this out, as opposed to the, hey, I'm dropping for this play. This was higher elimination, higher probability, of course, to immediately get you elimination, and then potentially to go for 2 quickly, but it was also way higher elimination of you getting eliminated, which is what happens. And the 1-for-1 trade doesn't work. You had to get multiple off of this. And I don't want to look at it in hindsight and go, oh, it didn't work out, and that's why it's a bad play. But I really do think it was better to go, hey, I'm doing my work from up here. Either I'm zoning out the Mercy or I'm doing this. Your Genji's safe, can be applying the pressure. Maybe you feel like you weren't going to have any angles from here, but this Tracer wasn't going to stay out of the fight. They were either going to have to use a blink to skip past you, or they were going to walk through and let you shoot at them. And same thing. You can adjust. You can work from here. You don't have to drop. You were having influence on this fight by being here, and worst comes to worst, you'll be able to turn around and shoot at the Zarya in a moment, because they're not all going to stay out of your line of sight. If they do, your Reinhardt returns.
Hey.
Oh boy. I can see it now. Some YouTube reviewer is going to think you guys are serious, and my channel is going to get completely removed from the face of the earth.
You're going to be
Did you see how you did that, though, when you didn't do that earlier? So if we look here... Nope, not quite far enough. Okay, so this isn't as good as I'd hoped. But here, you don't need to be here. You can be here. Yes, you lose a little bit of elevation, but you have cover, and cover is wonderful. So do this on the stairs, not out here. Do this on the stairs, and you'll be fine. Not out here. Out here, you potentially have to use your roll to get behind cover, and you don't want to have to use your roll. You don't want your roll forced. Do it here, and you can always just go like that to get to cover. It's fast enough. A little slow to wrench that fan into place. Works. Okay, so you had the reload issue that we saw. I didn't really notice it being super bad beyond that one. But then you had positional stuff. Specifically, I want you to know where, I want you to play a little bit closer to your cover. It matters. It's the difference between having to use a roll versus, hey, you're on the cover. But the other thing is I want you to recognize what you're playing against. Does the comp have multiple flankers? If it does, you still want some degree of angles, but you don't go as deep with your angles. You make sure you're within a roll or so of your team. You make sure your team has sightlines of you. You don't push up to the alley like you did.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 2. Capture the objective.
Yeah, Game Buster. They fooled me too. Usually I preview it more heavily, but I believed the person. How silly of me. Okay, so this has changed. You now have enough information to realize it because it's been more than 15 seconds. Last time you were in a situation where you were the more brawly team, you just had the Genji where they had the ball and the tracer. Now you're both in brawly teams where they have a little bit more poke than you do. You do want to play a bit on the angles against this. You do want to go, hey, I don't need to be directly behind my Reinhardt. I want to be a little more, I'm threatening you from here so that they take threats from your Zarya, threats from you. You want a bit of a split so that you have more concave damage threat, etc. And the reason for that is that it's harder for them when they have these brawly tank heroes, and it's more threatening when you're playing poke v poke to have greater, stronger angles. Overwatch is mostly about angles. Seriously, how many and how strong are your angles is a really good solution to most of Overwatch. The time you don't run into it is when your team is brawlier than the other team, and the other team is super dive heavy, super poke heavy. Then it becomes about, we're going to take away their angles one at a time with our angle eraser that is a big clump of people. So they're not more divey than you. You wouldn't mind being your big clumped eraser to take away their angles if you rotate around, but they don't have any angles. So since they don't have any angles, take your angles yourself, and you just work from out here while your Zarya works from here, while your Ana works from here. You could work from over here. That would be fine. That would be even more powerful. But you didn't know when you came into the point whether they were going to be more divey or more brawly or pokey. So please maintain your angle. Please don't wander behind your Rhine like this unless you're going for a flash overwhelm their Rhine play. I'm not convinced you needed that reload. Like, yes, you stayed behind cover for the vast majority of it, so it's okay, but you stayed behind cover for the vast majority of it because you were reloading when you could have peeked right faster and done work. Same thing. This same exact thing. You're doing the reload here because you want to, not because it's right. And now you're doing this reload that isn't right, that is hurting your uptime. And Zarya doesn't expect you to be hurting your uptime right now, so you get the bubble that you completely waste, and then after one shot you reload again. Okay, so here's the reload thing. Totally pushing through. And you're going to be like, but he has a bubble. This is a good time to reload. You have 5 shots. Shoot around him at the Zarya. And even if you, for a moment, didn't have a clear shot, that's not an excuse to reload because you should believe that it's more likely or not that you'll find another shot before the reload is over. So you're taking away from your uptime by doing this 5 ammo reload. No, no. Okay, so this, you're hoping they forget about you as you circle behind. This is fine. Circle behind fast, though. You can't be slow. What are you doing? You didn't want to give... Oh, my goodness. Yeah. So the play for this, I thought you knew this. None of them are paying attention to you, which is great, but you need to beeline it. This needs to be a beeline path to this Anna for you to flash and then eliminate her. Like that, the beeline path. That's what you do for this. Instead, you do this little square dance thing where you're like, let me do this, remind them that I'm on point, contesting point by doing this longer than necessary path, which is unfortunate. And then you take a shot at her. And of course she's alerted to the shot, the trail that goes right in front of her face of, oh, right, there's someone alive over there. I should turn and deal with it. And maybe I'll tell Hanzo to turn and deal with it too. Instead, you could have gotten to here when she wasn't looking potentially, flashed and eliminated her, and then hoped to take out the Hanzo and been like, we lost the fight, but I went for 2. I delayed the point. I got a bunch of volt charge that they didn't get to heal back up. That was what you were looking to do here. And, maybe if the rest of your team doesn't throw, they then go, oh, hey, now he took out those 2 and went down himself, and we have a 2v3, and potentially they can lift their way back into a 2v3. But you did this instead. I'm disappointed. That would have worked if it had been your first move as opposed to after shooting at her and drawing her and Hanzo and Mercy's attention. And for those of you that are keeping track, yes, we've added McCree to our sneaky, 170-pound hero list?
Hello there.
170-pound cowboy?
Group up. Group up with me. This would help. Much better.
Okay. Let's brute force some headshots. Why not? Again, no even check to see if there should be awareness over here. No even throwing of a mine, no anything. But okay. Yeah. So personally, I'd have wanted you to throw your mine here before you even took this shot, or as you were walking here, I'd have liked you to throw a mine here and then check this way and then go back to going this way, or even throw a mine here as you rotate this way. Like there's plenty of excuses to get a mine out. Or you turn here, you take your shot, you check for the McCree doesn't throw, you throw a mine up here, you go back. Like there's mine opportunities. Mine opportunities. Hey, Dragon.
Hello.
A steady blade balances the soul.
I could use some assistance.
Right idea, but he's got the health back advantage. Oh my goodness, he missed every storm arrow. And still got you. Feels bad. I mean, we can go over this, I suppose. It's a sniper duel. So here we are with our sniper duel. Okay. Sniper duel. You're here. You're at 50%. You're at 100%. Hit your flick. You go for your flick. You don't quite get the headshot. So he's at half. No problem. You decide to do it like this. Fine with me. You're here. You can still headshot him. He got the health pack, but you can still headshot him. Don't quite get it. Now things become tricky because he's got damage on you. And honestly, now that he's got damage on you, you're in trouble because he does have Storm Arrow. And he got damage on you. He's at a close effective range. he doesn't have arc time to his he doesn't have meaningful arc time to his normal shots, and he's got Storm Arrow. So you could consider honestly just going up from behind cover. I'm going to try to grapple myself to here and get behind immunity. That wouldn't be crazy, but you want to force it. And this Storm Arrow is literally just scratch. Don't even challenge this at all. Like, as soon as you see here that Storm Arrow, you don't try to finish this. You don't try to challenge this. You just let him burn that out. Storm Arrow, he can't hold Storm Arrow very long. You're much better off going, nope, I'm going to crouch. Nope, I'm going to get behind this. I'm going to keep this between me absolutely as best as I can here. And then he gets you with that one. But I don't mind so much that he got you with that one. My concern is more in the realm of you challenged his Storm Arrow a little too directly. That was kind of luck catching up with you.
Helden sterben nicht.
When it's a 50-50 duel, I feel like a coward. Hey, why let them have an even duel? And you have to be aware what is the situation for the team fight. I'm not giving you a 50-50 duel if my team is winning the team fight, for example. If my team is losing the team fight, I might take a 50-50 duel, but why would I give you one if my team is winning? Or if I can bait your attention onto me and then challenge someone else while you don't have a sightline on me, even better. That wasn't really an option for him, though. Or her, I guess. It's a widow that we're talking about now.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay. Not the most effective round. I mean, there was some angle taking at the beginning. There was this is the better way to not go down. We talked about the Widow duel. There you just go for your shots.
No one can hide from my sight.
Yeah, you forced some good headshots right when you swapped to Widow, but we weren't too effective after that. Remember, if you want to be more effective on Widow, it's using your team as bait. Like, your team has to be bait. You don't want them paying all the attention in the world to you, or if you do, you do it when your team can do stuff. If you look at sort of throughout here, this is fine, but your team isn't involved in this in the slightest. And your team isn't really doing anything terribly useful up here. Your team is losing, so this battle is kind of meaningless because, hey, my team is losing, and even if I win this, all it's going to do is help my team get out of spawn a little bit. Not a big deal. If we go back to here, this fight matters. This fight matters. But you don't do any sort of, hey, let me do this. The McCree is totally focused on you. McCree is totally focused on you. And you just hard challenge him and lose. And I don't care that you lose. Like, if you'd hard challenged him and won, oh, we'd be singing a different story. I mean, yeah, we would be. But this really becomes a thing of, hey, it's not like the McCree was missing out on anything. The McCree can hard focus you because your team is lost. You're down ball at this point. Your Zarya's getting pushed back. He's not distracted by, oh, there's a battle over here that he wants to pay attention to. If you want to see success on Widowmaker, it's going to be about, hey, this McCree would like to challenge me, but this McCree would also like to be interested in the fight on the point. He'd like to challenge me. He'd also be interested in the fight on the point. He's not really having to make that decision for most of this fight. So you don't need to challenge him, and it's not just a McCree. He's got a mercy pocket over here. You want to challenge these heroes when there's something else distracting to them, not just, oh, I'm going to straight ego duel you. And he wasn't ego dueling you. He's like, hey, I've got a mercy. But, hey. Okay, that's the end of that round. Let's see if you pull out the Widow again.
Locked and loaded.
Your first coach was Sir Robin. Bravely run away. Bravely run away can be some good advice. Here you're trying to do work while your Genji's a distraction. but you just don't hit your shots, and this is a kind of direct angle. Like, something over here could be better, something over here could be better, where the cover against the direction your team is coming from is not also cover against you. That said, this is an overtime situation. I get it.
No one can hide from my sight.
Existence is mysterious, isn't
Doomfist? This isn't Doomfist. Oh, is Doomfist a hit scan now? Okay.
it? Hello there.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 3. Capture the objective.
Symmetra. Oh, the sim TP that you don't even get out of time. Okay, so you do have to be like lightning on those if you're going to do those. You just go, hey, I'm on sim. I immediately step out. You immediately, and you do immediately want to do your little step out to drop your teleporter. These stairs might be giving you a little trouble, so you can take the extra step or two if you want. You drop the teleporter, then you go back and you come back, preferably on a faster hero like Doomfist is fine. Okay. You're going to come in with your angle. You're going to get your health pack. Still go right back to your angle. You don't have any information and your Zarya's gone. I don't like this. You just needed to go right back for your angle. Okay. Angle, good. He sees you. Close it. Leave. Fine. Yeah, I mean, your team fell too far behind. Your Zarya went down fast, but not faster than you could have retaken your angle on the right there and seen if there was work to do. Now we're back on Ashe. Or we're on Ashe, the originally advertised hero.
Group up with me.
Expect nothing less.
Hey.
Expect nothing less. It's hand.
Hello. Get back for more. This will
Rotating is fine. You're going to have to do work because you spent time rotating during the fight. So I don't actually mind this. It was a moderate length rotation, and it was sort of while the fight was going on, but you got part of it done before the fight was going on, and it's a strong enough angle, even though you have to shoot uphill, that you potentially could have traded back to make up for the time that your team was 5v6ing, but you then just missed too many shots, and that happens.
team kill.
McCree takes many faces today. I mean,
Checking in.
I'm not going to put 4 heroes in the description or in the title. Now we're on McCree again.
Oh there.
Why are we flashing? That Reinhardt's already lying on the ground. Why would you do this? You're going to want to just fan him first. Fan him, then you can either roll or flash him. Like, yes, he'll probably start to get up during your fan, but he's not immediately dangerous to you. You don't need to flash him now. Flashing him now is going to add a tiny bit maybe to his stun length. It's not going to get you the full flash duration. No. No. And honestly, he wasn't even the target to shoot at. I know he's scary because he's right here, but let's be serious. Okay. Are you going to take down this Reinhardt? Are you going to take down this nanoed Reinhardt? Reinhardt is nanoed. And Valk is going. I just don't see a way that you're going to take this down. Maybe between the pin and the... Well, there's a pin. Like, are you thinking I'm pinning it to make absolutely sure that my Reinhardt gets the pin off? Maybe. Maybe. I think I'd count on my Reinhardt to get this off regardless, personally. This would be a fan flash situation if that's what you're doing. With your Rhine here, I guess it's okay to try to go after him. Maybe you think you can force him down. You were probably better off just trying to double tap the Anna. Honestly, that was probably the more high probability situation, but whatever.
It ain't my time.
Staying on McCree.
Hey.
Take your angles. Take your angles. Ouch. Why are you pushing into this? You're at 69. It's not at 85. It's not at 99. You're at 69. Don't push into this. You're still behind. While you're behind, your Reaper's figured it out, but while you're behind like this and your team isn't going to win, this is a pretty good time to go, hey, I'll take an angle so that when my team finally does get their stuff together, I have a strong angle to try to do work from. Cool. This is good. You're angling. I don't love this. I think there was a bigger angle you could have taken, but I'll live. One ammo reload for giggles. There was plenty to do there. Leave. Leave. Keep your angle over here. Your team is playing here. Keep your angle over here. Didn't want you here. Did never want you here. Wanted you here. And then the dragon comes and you go, oh, I'll roll away and then around the corner. Or you go, okay, I'll go this way. Like, I don't care, but never wanted you on the doorway. And you went down, your ball went down, and now they're going to flip the point and win. And you're going to have to insta-high noon, and it's not going to be good enough. You're not even going to insta-high noon. Okay. I'm unclear on why you'd take shots at the Mercy before high nooning. Like, she's one of the people most vulnerable to go down to that high noon with where she was, but okay. Yeah. Okay, so you've got some angle maintenance issues, and you've got some reload issues. The reload issues will be hard to fix. They generally are. So with your reloads, you have to be thinking to yourself, hey, I want to do reloads when I'm behind cover and have good reason to be behind cover. Like, there's too much heat on me, so I actually want to be behind cover. Or, hey, I've taken damage, so I actually want to be behind cover. Not, I'm going to go behind cover so I have an excuse to reload. There's a difference between those. Notice it and implement it into your gameplay. So you want to do that because you want to increase your uptime, be getting more of that glass cannon, as we'll call it, just puke out damage, puke out damage, puke out damage. Then I want you to adjust your off angling. So off angling is generally good. I want you to have the angle. I want you to go, hey, my team is fighting from here. If I can fight from here, that's fine. This is a very short flank. You can afford to do this. Great. If you can set up this before the fight begins, even better. If you can set up this before the fight begins, even better. During the fight, I don't necessarily want you rotating from here to here. That might be too slow. But I do want you rotating from here to here. I want you to do this against comps that are a similar level of brawliness to your comp. I also want you to do this when comps are poke heavy if your comp is poke heavy, because you can be like, hey, we're poking from here, we're poking from here. Poke is good. I do not want you to do this, or this separate level of separation is fine against a comp that's more divey, but I wouldn't want you to be over here when your team is here against a comp that's super divey with like balls, tracers, Genjis, Sombras, lots of things like that, because you can't get back to your team for them to protect you. You can't peel well enough for each other against dive. You can peel against poke, you can peel against brawl by being split. You cannot poke well enough. You cannot peel well enough against dive by being split. So if they're running that tracer, that Genji, that's when it's more okay to stack with your team. The rest of the time, get yourself at least a little bit of separation. Maybe it's so little that you can roll back like here, or get yourself bigger separation, but get yourself the bigger separation when you have time periods to do so. It's more powerful, but you move slow as McCree, so you have to try to set this up between fights and all that jazz. Okay, I hope those make sense. Those are two things that I've given you to work on that are going to increase the level of your play. Try to focus on one at a time. First, work on understanding when and how to off angle properly. And you're going to focus on that for 15 games. See if you can upgrade it. See if that upgrade sticks. And then if it is sticking, you move on to the next thing. And one of the ways to tell if it's sticking is you move on to the next thing and see if it starts getting worse from when you were focusing on it, or if it stays at the level that it was at when you'd focused on it for the last 15, 20 games, whatever. And then you'd work on that second thing, which is your reloading, and fixing the reloads will be harder. That will not be a 5 or 10 game thing. That might be a 30 game thing. That might be a 3 week thing. That might be a work on it for quite a bit and it gets mostly fixed, but still some of it lingers. Fixing the reloads is a habitual thing, so you're just going to have to be focused on it, and you may play a bit worse while you're trying to work on fixing it, because it is going to take some of your brain power to, nope, 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 stop doing that to yourself. He wanted the revenge against the Hanzo. Would this be a good place for a high noon? I don't know when you're talking about, but at the very end there, I expected him to high noon immediately, and instead he shot at the Mercy before high nooning. In general, what we want to do for a high noon is after high noons are easiest to get off after a one fight, where let's say his team has control and gets the point, or his team has control and gets the point, and then when the opposing team comes out, his team is maybe on point, maybe to the right, and he's somewhere over here, and he goes, I have a nice deep cross angle pre-set up for my high noon. Or if he can get behind them and just wait, like if he's going to go, hey, the other team comes in and he just hides here or something, and then he comes out for his high noon, those are great. High noons, so we talked about off angles and how you take shallow off angles and how you take deeper off angles when you have time to set up. High noon is going to be a high risk, low reward. So you might go, let's say he was off angling, his team was here, he was here. He might normally delay peaking by a second, half a second, so that this team starts to turn and face his team, because he wants the enemies to be going after his team, not him, because he doesn't have very good sustain on the angle. He's not soldier, etc. But but with high noon, he would want them to go even deeper, get further from cover, be more committed, because he's going to do a lot of work from here, but he's also going to draw a lot of attention when he pops this high noon. So instead of giving them like a second, half a second to turn and go after his team, he might give them a second and a half, 2 seconds, and then peek and pop the high noon, and then they're in this like, oh, we have to turn around and get all the way back there. That's annoying. Or plus they're closer to his team, so his team can do a little more like, nope, we're going to throw a DM over you so you can't shoot at him, things like that. I hope that makes sense for general high noon use. Generally with high noon, you're going to take deeper angles, you're going to delay it a little bit longer, you're not going to have pre-peaked, and then you're going to hit the high noon. It's easiest to do after a one fight because that lets you set up the deep angles easily. So you go, hey, we want to fight now to win this next fight, we're going to use high noon from behind you. If you can change elevation while you're high nooning, so say you're here and you're here, you're crouched, you're waiting, then you start your high noon, and then as you pull it or just before you pull it, you start to drop, so you fire it from here. That can be pretty good too. Couple general principles for high noon. Okay. I mean, a couple seconds before from the right. Yes, from the right is where we would have wanted to hit the high noon. Yes, but again, I want him to delay when he peaks longer than you normally would. Will there be another VOD review after this? Maybe some bronze DPS action? You gave up on Moira? Yeah, I'll do another VOD review after this one. It might take me a few minutes to decide which one to do because I don't have something just sitting in my inbox that I need to do. But yes, we'll do another VOD review after this one. Okay, so there we are. Let's get a McCree screen.
Up, knock 'em down.
Okay, if you guys have any questions, throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe as that helps me out quite a bit. Or if you're looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like. You can also see what sort of events we have coming up, and we do have the internal scrims coming up. We're finalizing that schedule now, so if you want to participate or if you want to figure out, hey, can I make sure this happens at a good time for me, get in the Discord and react now. That is in there in the event planning channel. Do I say anything question-wise? Okay. I think we're good then. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.